Alright, so I got some comments on my video, which is always exciting. I love engagement. However, this time is likely from some CIA agent or something. So, username John Elliott with 2 T's, that's J2F, wrote, genocides in the modern world include the Holocaust, Rwanda, Armenia, Cambodia, Bosnia, Yazidis, Guatemala, and East Timor. Oh yeah, and these are comments in response to my last video where I said people in the US are delusional about how genocidal the government is and how they're delusional in thinking that the government is above hurting children, when it's been documented many times of them doing so, especially in Israel. We have so many documents of that. And then so these people come on my video trying to say the opposite. And honestly, I don't even want to talk about these because there's other things going on. But I mean, not to minimize the tragedy of these events. But for the sake of this, for this person trying to spread false information, I'm gonna just let's go by one. So he says the Holocaust. Yeah, we already know about the Holocaust. Okay, so Rwanda. I looked up, so to find information on what I'm talking about is really hard because the United States has so much propaganda, which, like in that last video, the guy that was emotional about children running away from ICE and he was surprised about that. Like, he's under so much propaganda that he doesn't even know like how evil and child unaliving the United States government is. So to find this information was kind of hard, but I'm going to provide links to each thing about in the description. So first off, Rwanda. Here's this article. It was written by a student, but specifically right here, the United States not only did not halt the killing, but actively prevented other willing powers from taking effective action. Written by Kaufman, 2002, page 114. I tried to find that. I couldn't find it. The whatever article or book that they were talking about. Because that's how hard it is to find these things. Like, your search engines are compromised. Well, okay, so that's that. And then let's go to Armenia. Talking about the Armenian genocide. The United States played a role in all of these, is what I'm trying to say, getting at. Here we go. With the November 5th presidential election less than 3 months away, the Armenian National Committee of America has reaffirmed the Trump-Pence administration's failing grade for aiding, abetting, and emboldening Azerbaijan's 2020 assault on indigenous Armenians of Artsakh. Yeah, and that's like the most recent thing. Like in the 90s, the Armenian genocide, like the United States had a role as well. Okay, Cambodia. Here's this article. Just how many people the United States killed and injured will never be known. In his book, Ending the Vietnam War, Kissinger himself cites an apparent memo from the Historical Office of the Secretary of Defense, Department of War now, stating there were 50,000 Cambodian casualties. The leading Cambodian genocide scholar, Ben Kiernan, states the likely numbers between 50,000 and 150,000, 3 times the amount of the official statement from the United States government. One Cambodian witness to the bombing described the event as follows. 3 F-111s jets bombed right center in my village, killing 11 of my family members. My father was wounded but survived, thank Allah. At the time, there was not a single soldier in the village or in the area around the village. 27 other villagers were also killed. They had to run in a ditch to hide, and the 2 bombs fell right into it. Bosnia. The Western action was not agreeable to all of the NATO alliance. yet it did occur, and the very fact that it did was remarkable, for the response of the West to the crisis in the Balkans prior to the airstrikes had been weak, indecisive, and ineffective. One could even make the case that the nature of the Western response actually abetted genocide and other crimes against humanity in the region by allowing the perpetrators to proceed with the guarantee that they would not be punished. Yazidis. So Yazidis are a group of indigenous people, non-Muslim indigenous people in Iraq, and they were they were genocided by ISIS, and the United States funds ISIS. Israeli Prime Minister public admission of supporting an ISIS-linked organization and says, "What's wrong with that?" Moving on. Guatemala. The United States, as a capitalist country with business interests in Guatemala, deemed it necessary to instigate the Guatemalan Civil War and support the anti-communist military to prevent the alleged rise of global communism. The United States was also motivated by the fear of Soviet influence and the potential to use Guatemala to advance its political agenda. In 1952, the United States developed a plan to overthrow the communist president Jacobo Arbenz Guzman, as they assumed his regime threatened American corporations such as the United Fruit Company. And that's a whole other can of worms to United States United Fruit Company. United Fruit Company unalived so many indigenous people just so they could grow fruit and sell it for 80 cents in the United States. It is artificially cheap. An apple from the state of Washington costs $3, whereas a whole bunch of bananas only cost 80 cents, and that's bought by the blood of Guatemalans. Shame on the United States. Okay, and last but not least, East Timor. With the financial backing of the United States, Indonesia brutally killed hundreds of thousands and moved the rest of the population to camps. Because it costs money to do all that. You can't just randomly do, like the United States was backing that. However, the story does not end there. The occupation and genocide committed against the Timorese people persisted for decades. The United States funded it every year from the Ford administration until the Clinton administration. We have yet to learn from our mistakes. So this user, okay, and these are like not even like main military foreign policy campaigns of the United States. These are like other situations that they took advantage of and used for their benefit. This does not include the ones where the United States directly went to other countries and killed children and women. There's a documentary on Netflix talking about how there's drone strikes on weddings, on funerals, just individuals, and yeah, I don't even, but yeah, like it doesn't even address all the actual campaigns of genocide the United States committed in Iraq, Afghanistan, Vietnam, Korea, etc. And this user, so they like to, their intention is to rage bait, because when you're enraged, you have less focus. Especially during time right now when we have the larger story of the Epstein files coming out. Like, I'm trying to make videos about that, but this guy made this little comment of propaganda that I had to disprove. And and I think it's worth noting that, yeah, this person knew that the United States' role in all these conflicts, and he like just drops it all in one comment. So like, you know, it's just like, it's kind of just like a bomb you drop on somebody's page just to like whatever. But also what's interesting is like my channel has 109 subscribers as of today. I'm virtually invisible in the internet. Like in the sphere of the internet, I'm a virtually nobody. I'm nothing. and they wanted to take the time and target my page. And of course, these pages are anonymous. They ain't got no content. They won't show their face. They won't say this with a face. But they want to take the time and target me. So anyways, I just wanted to address that. And going back to my point where that individual was crying because 13-year-olds are running away from ICE, which is tragic. Nothing to minimize at all. However, his eyes are dry as a desert when it comes to the unaliving of children in other countries. Now that it's in his face, of children just running away, not even being unalive, he's emotional and in tears. But when it comes to the unaliving of deaths of probably of the many children in Gaza and Palestine, was he out in the streets? Was he protesting? No, he's probably just on his couch chilling But anyways, that's that. And thanks for tuning in, y'all. I'm gonna put up Epstein video too. All right.